All right, good morning. Looking at the SPY daily chart right now. What are we doing? Where are we heading? Sorry for it looking like a mess, but that's just our reality. Really have a lot of rays coming up off this bottom here, which is okay because that's, we've seen a move off the bottom and a nice solid acceleration after retesting the uptrend ray. So let's take a look again. Always starting with the big picture, really. All-time high. Here's the first test, second test. Mid-June, we broke down, so this is where we're at now. We got the little divergence, a little bit dip below. The 356 level, which I thought was going to be really key, essentially held. We had that pre-market where it snapped down to like 340 something, right? Yeah, 348. But she basically opened up above 356, and we've been up since then. So it seems like the market, although, there's some days where we're getting, it looks like people are panic selling in terms of CPI or inflation or jobs or, whatever data release that we're getting, it's still working within the system. It's still working within the parameters. Essentially, the market is still following rules. We're not in full panic mode yet. So let's just take a look at some of the candles here. I have the go, no-go indicator on here, which is blue, any blue and light blue looking bullish, blue very bullish. The reddish amber color is a transition, so more of like a neutral stance. And then anything that's kind of this purplish pink is bearish, obviously lighter pink being a slightly bearish, and then dark purple being, or purple being a more, or violet, whatever, being bearish. So if you want to take it to daily chart, we're still bearish. I think we've actually hit, I'll get rid of some of these guys in a second, but looks like we've hit a potentially amber. It looks like it. Oh yeah. So, but that being said, we are at amber. We came up. This is the angle of attack here. Change the color on this. All right, so that's coming off, what, about a week ago here. That's the angle of attack. Now, we're selling off a little bit here after we went up into these anchored VWAPs, which are these dotted lines on the monthly. So we cranked through this anchored VWAP. From that, that's this red line here. It's a good sign. We chewed right through that. And after breaking out through this two downtrend rays coming off the top here, and the following day was at the 24th. So what's that? Today's Wednesday. So that's Monday. Opened up, came down, retested the anchored VWAP, and we popped up higher. Yesterday we had a nice solid rush, and then we faded into the last half of the day. But that's fine. Again, we have a lot of anchored VWAPs from this area, so we just have to respect that. It's not going to be an easy pop through. And then also on top of that, we have we have a downtrend ray coming from the high. So this morning on the daily chart, we broke through this acceleration uptrend ray from here. Looks like we've kind of retested this, and now we're showing some weakness. Let's go down to the 1 minute chart for pre-market. So looks like we have a little double top that happened there. Yeah, essentially a double top action. Faded, 8 o'clock shakeout. I shouldn't say shakeout, but reset. Things get a little wonky at 8 o'clock, and then that kind of sets up the day. So it looks like they're going to try to test this pretty hard. I don't know if we're going to get anything. Yeah, so that's where they're at right now. So that's pretty steep. It's 8:45 right now, so we might see that going into the open. 381.20ish seems to be. Yeah, there's a few spots in here. A decent amount of volume have occurred, so that makes sense. Here's a nice anchored volume from here, or anchored VWAP, sorry. So we need to look, if we get back above 382 before the open, that would be a good. Let's take a look at the Qs now. It's probably going to look the same, but definitely down a little bit harder in the pre-market. Yeah, down almost 2% versus around 1% for the SPY. Not seeing really why. Oh yeah, see, that's the thing. She's failed. The Q. This is the big thing to notice. The Qs have failed to really get above the formation high. Whereas if we go back to the SPY real quick, she's grinding up, so she's above it. There's the high. There's the formation here. It's not necessarily like a true double bottom, but you get the W formation, and this is actually a good setup too, which is you got a bullish divergence here. She's coming up. She had a little bit of trouble, but after a little pullback, she's accelerating at an even steeper angle of attack above. That's a good sign. Let's take a look at the diamonds and see. See, the diamonds are holding up, and the diamonds are doing better. So this is where we're at here. So it's really the SPYs being dragged up by the industrials. So that's kind of been the way throughout this sell-off, and last market's leaders usually are the laggards now, right? So a lot of the semiconductors, anything tech, especially if it's software stuff. But that looks pretty good too. Look at that, nice and clean. Here's the downtrend ray. Broke over the high, came down, kind of retested against this anchored VWAP, and now popped back up. Anything happening in terms of indices for us? Not really. Everybody's kind of flat. Healthy dividends. UHS is up. Do we have a... I don't think they had earnings, did they? They did? They did. Oh my gosh, I apologize. Sorry, guys. Wow. It's not crazy, but the thing is this is Universal Health, and then was HCA. How are they doing this morning? They're just not showing much. That looks pretty good too. Keep an eye on HCA. But both of these guys they've been beaten up pretty bad, and the outlook for these guys, for both these tickers, was pretty concerning with the labor issues in hospitals and medical centers. So the fact that UHS beat and HCA had an okay, but looks like they're doing some reorganization. I hate these Benzinga things. I just give me something here. I guess it's giving me an idea. That's basic. This is all we need to know. Everything else is just junk. Give me a break. No, I don't like Benzinga. You suck. At least it gives us a headline. Anyway, I apologize. TMO, what's with you? Beast. Well, that's a sign when you report good earnings and it still sells off. That's still the sign that we're in a bearish, in general. The market's very bearish. We might have some technical positive going on, but when positive data or updates get hit with selling, that's not good. That's not even that's a solid beat. However, it's a cut. Look at that. 12% decrease earnings year over year. That's just probably it. It's just the headline. It's just that COVID fade going on. Anyway, you're going to have decreased earnings from astronomical triple their all-time best earnings in 1 year. And then they're going to have a slight decrease from that, and it's going to be seen as a negative. Crazy. All right, I'll end it there. My list this morning is definitely going to be UHS, TMO. MDT is probably not going to be looking good, so I'll keep them on the watch list, see if we can get something. No. You can see this is still in control. 1, 2, 3. Well, let's keep an eye on TM. It's probably going to sell off a little bit, but MDT, TMO, and we'll go from there. UHS is probably something to keep an eye on. Amgen, that was a hot looking chart a minute ago. I sent that out in the chat. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go with mostly healthy dividends because it looks like we're getting a lot of ups, a lot of downs. So we might have some chances to add on pullbacks on some of these guys that are spiking. They're just below or buy thresholds. And if they look like they're a good technical setup, they're ready for an actual run above or buy thresholds, maybe it's our last chance to really add to some of these guys. IQV selling off. Yeah, I just ran into anchored VWAP. Couldn't get above. It spiked above, but we were above 200. So IQV's in play. So close. We missed it. I gotta adjust for these guys, but still I can't adjust. I want this. I want to keep adding to these guys, but man, oh man, these guys, the valuation's crazy. And we got good technical setup. We got a monthly starting to rise up again. The daily drop below. This was the time to really add. Now we're potentially starting to rebound here. I don't know. We're starting to see some nice solid setups. Nope. I don't know where he came that from. Alright, I'll end there. Good luck. Stay healthy.